Hey guys, it's Mariah. If you haven't seen my last video, I'm a teen mom and this is a part of that series. So I am going to be talking today about how I graduated with a bachelor's degree in just 3 years. If that's something you're interested in, just keep watching. So a bachelor's degree typically takes 4 years, if not longer, to get. It depends kind of like if you're going full-time, part-time, what degree you have, and all of that. So I went to a school that offered year-round campus, so I was actually able to get my degree in 3 school years instead of 4. So I'm 21 and I just graduated. My degree is in biomechanics or kinesiology, and I can get more into depth about what that is. But for right now, I'm just going to talk about how I achieved graduating with a bachelor's degree in 3 years while being a teen parent. So I just want to preface by saying that having a degree does not equal success. Your determination, your willingness, and your work ethic determine your success. And wherever you see your life going and you achieve that, that is success for you. So this is my personal success and how I was able to prove to myself that I can achieve anything I set my mind to by going through this journey. So I want to talk a little bit about my high school and how that kind of set me up for graduating and going to college. I was in a college prep program in high school for 3 years, and in that class I had the same teacher and same group of kids throughout for those 3 years. And this teacher and this program was based around going to college and succeeding and knowing what it takes to go to college, the application process, what colleges look for, all of that kind of stuff. And to have the same teacher and that consistency was really beneficial for me, especially because I was a teen parent. So going into more depth about how I was able to do it while being a mom and also working. So in high school, like I said, that class taught me a lot about college. It also taught me about time management. And I think time management is the number one key to success in a lot of different areas, whether you're a teen parent or not. Knowing how to effectively manage your time in whatever you're doing is going to help set you up for success in your career field. So in high school, what my typical day looked like when I was a teen parent was I would wake up in the morning about 2 to 3 hours before I had to go to school, and I would wake up, get myself ready, get my son ready, feed him. And keep in mind, if you haven't seen my last video, I stayed at home. So I lived at home at this point, and my boyfriend at the time lived with his family. So I often took him at night because I breastfed. So he stayed with me a lot of the time, and also my boyfriend, now husband, worked really, really early in the morning. So he did stay with me a lot of time, if you're asking. So I would wake up, get myself ready, take care of him. I would drop him off at daycare at about 6:45, and I would get to school at about 7:15 in the morning, so about an hour at least before class started. And a lot of teachers at the high school I went to did tutoring in the mornings and sometimes at lunch if you set up a meeting, and then after school they had certain tutoring as well. So in the mornings, it gave me that time and opportunity to ask my teachers questions and also do homework, because as you can imagine, when you're working after school and when you have a kid to take care of, it's very difficult to find time to do your homework and not feel like you're taking away time from your kid or time from your family or even for yourself. So I would do homework whenever I could find the time, and that time that made sense to me. So it made sense to me to go in the mornings, and if I needed help, I could get it. And that also set me up for success in those classes as well, because I was staying on top of my work, and I was also being proactive about knowing what I was learning. So I would go into class, work on homework for about an hour, study, do whatever I had to do. And then I often had either a 1 to 2 hour lunch between the 2 last years I was in high school and had him. And during lunchtime, I would quickly eat my lunch in like 15 minutes. I'm a pretty quick eater. And then I would go right to doing homework again. And this might sound hard for some people. Some people just cannot sit through classes long, and then sit through homework and go to work. But for me, I think that I'm a busybody and I like to always be busy. And I think that schoolwork is what really helped pull me out of the depression, pull me out of what everyone thought of me, because my time was focused on my success then. And I think that's what that college prep class taught me about, is high school isn't forever. You're gonna go to college, you're gonna graduate, or you're gonna go right to work, and high school won't matter. So I was focusing on the future. And I think that's another key component when you're a teen parent or even a parent, is focusing on the future for your kids, what kind of job you see yourself having, paying bills and working hard and all that kind of stuff. So I would go to lunch, I would do my homework, and then I'd go to class. And my work schedule changed a little bit because I had a couple of different jobs in high school. So a lot of the jobs I had were either like right after school or a couple hours after school. So after school, I typically go pick up my son, drop him off, or I would go right to work and have my grandparents who I lived with pick him up and watch him until either my boyfriend was done at work or I was done at work. And I typically worked either like 3 to 6 p.m. or like 4 to 9 p.m. during the week. And then after work, I spent that time with my kid, and maybe if I had a little bit of homework, but most of my time went toward my kid and my boyfriend and family. I didn't have a lot of friends, like I said, in high school, so none of my time really went toward hanging out with anyone else, which was okay because I was already working and in school like 60 hours a week, so it was important for me to spend time with my baby, especially because babies typically have pretty early bedtimes. So that's how I managed my time effectively in high school. Now about finding motivation, because it's hard to find motivation in just school and work and sometimes just your family. So you need time for you as well to feel motivated, because you can just get so caught up in a cycle that you kind of forget to take care of yourself or do things that make you happy still. So what I would typically do is I would make sure that work was done first, play with my son, and I would make sure that we got out of the house, even if it was with my boyfriend and kid. We got out of the house, we did stuff. I took a lot of baths, I watched a lot of shows on Netflix after he went to bed. So that was another thing. After he went to bed, that's when I had me time, because I had no kid, my boyfriend didn't live with me. So I got to just watch movies by myself and chill in the bathtub or with my family, or just kind of do my own thing. So that was my unwind time. And then going forward into college, it was kind of a similar routine. I didn't live with my boyfriend still. My baby was getting older, so it was a little bit easier to do homework, because in college you don't do homework at school. If you're not in college and you don't know how that works, you take classes, whether they're online or in class, and you usually have large gaps in your day, either that or you don't have classes on some days. It depends how full your schedule is, and also like your work schedule and all that. So I would go to class, and if I had like an hour or two break, I would often go home, eat lunch, and then work on homework. And then I would work. So my college schedule is a little bit more messy than my high school schedule, but the schedule in high school, keeping that consistency really taught me how to prioritize homework and like what I should be studying for when, and also the college prep class. So I was able to say, okay, my planner will help me. I used a planner religiously. I wrote, I had a monthly planner, and then I had where you could split it open. It said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it had like big spaces for the days of the week, and it was a pretty big planner. So that was very helpful because I wrote every class, I wrote what we did, and then I kept a line underneath, and I wrote the homework for the day. If I had a test coming up, I'd go forward in the weeks and write it and highlight it. If I had something due, if I had things I needed to remember, because a lot of the time in class, that is when you learn the information. I had some teachers that did not put any info on Canvas, which is what we used. Some maybe use Blackboard, but that is what we used, and they didn't put their notes online. They maybe put a little bit, but you had to be in class to know what you're doing, especially for math classes, science classes. You can't just read a book or look at your textbook. It's kind of hard to understand how to do problems and all that if you're not in class and you're not seeing examples. So you made it a lot harder on yourself by skipping class, and I hardly ever skipped a class. And so I would go to class, and then I would make sure I was writing in my planner showing up on time, because that's when they give announcements, is right at the beginning. I would write my announcements, write what we're doing for the day, so I remembered. And then I would write my homework if I had any, and then tests and all that, go to class, take my break, and kind of look at my planner. So say, okay, so I have 2 worksheets and a chapter that needs to be read that was given today, and they might be due Wednesday, one might be due Thursday, whatever. But how I did it was I wrote all of what I did and my homework and all of that, and I prioritize. So I know I need to eat, I will do that first. Then I still have an hour left. Okay, what are the things that are easy to get done that maybe need to be done first? Because I always made sure that if something was due tomorrow, I'd get it done, or if it was due tonight, that I got it done. Even if it's something you don't want to do, always make sure that you get it done on time, because you don't want to get docked. So that is what I did. I prioritized, and I got the easy stuff done first, because that just made more sense to me, because I'd have more motivation. Because if a lot of the time I spent like 3 hours writing a paper, I really didn't even want to spend 5 minutes doing a worksheet. So I just got all the easy stuff done first, and then I'd work as much as I can on the paper, because I'd often start papers ahead of time. You want to make sure that you do that even in high school, because it saves you a lot of heartache, and that way you have more time for revision to make sure you have quality work done. College, they grade a lot more harshly than they do in high school, which is expected, especially when you start getting into your majors classes. Your major is what you're graduating with, so like biomechanics is my major, that's my degree. So I always made sure that for those classes, I never had late work, because that's another thing. If you have work on time, you show up to your classes, you make sure you're communicating with your professors, which is a huge, huge thing. Communication, you're getting all your work done on time, you're learning how to time manage, which time management, like I said, is very important, and it just takes going to classes, doing all that stuff to really figure out your schedule, because your schedule changes every semester usually. So it's kind of something that you have to figure out, but I can just give you some tips, like I said. So that, and then the communication with your professors, making sure that you're giving yourself up for leadership opportunities or investing in clubs and going to events. Because if you think about it, in the future when you're trying to get a job and you had good relationships with your professors and you showed leadership skills and you were able to always complete your work on time and give quality work, then they're more likely to give you a good letter of recommendation for a job that will help you versus just getting like a generic letter of recommendation. You want to make sure that your relationships with your professors are superior. Don't be afraid of being a teacher's pet, because ultimately you're working for your future. Don't care about what anyone else says. You're working for you, not them. It's your life, your bills, your future, not theirs. So don't worry about what other people have to say. So I'd say those are the things that I did. And obviously, I wasn't always perfect. I didn't always complete things when I was probably supposed to, as far as like my prioritization efforts. However, I always made sure that the work was done. It maybe wasn't always my best work, or I maybe didn't always have motivation. Trust me, I didn't. But it's about the thought that counts. And it's so easy to just get caught up in what you're doing right now. But a lot of the time, I reminded myself of what my goal was. So if your goal is to see yourself walk across that stage, shake their hand, get your diploma, and then feel accomplished, and that's what it takes for you to graduate, to feel that moment, then focus on that, not your paper that's making you upset. So for me, as being a teen parent, as you can imagine, and if you watched my last video, you can probably imagine that I had a lot of people doubt me. I had a lot of people being rude, doubting me, saying bad things about me, and that's expected. You're in high school, you're a teen parent, there's a lot of stereotypes on teen. However, I used their words as a way to motivate me to not become the person that they said I was going to be. I wanted to work hard because I knew that when I walked across that stage and got my diploma, it would make me feel like I accomplished everything I set my mind to. I finally did it. I finally did the thing they said I wasn't going to do. And that was my way of finding a motivation. I did it for me. I did it for my son. I did it to make myself feel like I could accomplish anything I set my mind to, and I don't have to follow the stereotypes and follow what people say about me. And you can find your own source of motivation and what your goals are. If your goal is to own a business and you accomplish that and you don't have to go to college to accomplish that, that's perfect. Do what makes you feel motivated and successful in your life. And there's always a different path to what you want to do versus what I want to do. I'm just giving you the tips, and some of these tips can be put forward to other areas as well. So, you know, like I said, the time management, that can be put toward any sort of work area you want to work in, or determination, or good communication. Those skills should be incorporated into literally every single job that you would have. So use these skills toward your future and learn from me. And maybe I didn't cover everything or like what you wanted to hear specifically, so I will always answer comments or DMs. I will link my information below so you can get a hold of me if you would like. But I think that is it for this video. I will talk more about anything else that you want to hear about in the future if I missed anything, but those are the key components. I focused a lot on time management, good communication. I focused on being a part of extracurricular activities as much as I could. I found time in between classes to get my homework done and still find time to spend time with my son and do things I need to do. And then I shape my work schedule around that. So same idea as the high school schedule, just a little bit more messy and takes a little bit more focus and time management skills. But if you practice enough early on, it shouldn't be bad. It's just something you have to get used to, like anything. Get out of your comfort zone, learn something, research, watch YouTube videos, read books. Always be working to improve yourself because you're an investment. Invest it in your knowledge. It doesn't have to be school. It can be anything you want to learn, but invest in yourself because you're worth learning what you want to succeed in. So I encourage you, do whatever you gotta do to succeed. You don't have to please anyone but yourself. So do it. Go ahead, apply for school, find the aid to help you through school, find someone to help watch your kid, whether you have to go to school for 8 hours and then go to work for 4 hours, and maybe they can go to daycare for that time and you can get assistance for that, but then 4 hours of work, it's after daycare hours, so you have to hire someone, or maybe a family member, or you can do co-parenting. Whatever you gotta do, just figure it out. Kind of work the puzzle pieces together to make your life work for you. Whether you're in a tough situation or not, I promise you can figure it out. Just try to be positive, reach out to people, reach out to me because I will be there for you if you need someone. So reach out to me. I can help you with tips or whatever you want to know about my life and how I did something as far as college or time management, any of that, I will help you. So feel free to reach out to me. Have a good day. If you have any other further questions or suggestions as far as videos, let me know in the comments down below. But I'll see you next time. Bye.